All right, guys, we are back for section 6. Today we are going to talk all about um, economic crime, fraud, and identity theft and such. So here's our funny internet picture of the section. Oh, poor Jorge. He wants to be hardcore, but his mommy won't let him. Oh. All right. Fraud is huge on the internet. By some organizations, data collection shows that fraud is the number one kind of cybercrime. It is the most common form of cybercrime. Um, and it is one of the reasons it is that way is because it's a target-rich environment, right? I know I have Amazon Prime, and I do a lot of shopping on Amazon. Plus the amount of shopping I do on eBay and assorted bookstores and ThinkGeek, which if you haven't been to ThinkGeek, that is an amazing online store. But they did a survey in over 25 different countries, and 54% of the people that they surveyed did online shopping at least monthly. My house, we do it a lot more than monthly, right? Just in America, 66% of people, which is 2/3 of us, which is a huge number, right? But fraud can take place over lots of other kind of mediums rather than just during the online shopping experience, right? We get fraudulent emails, texts, I get them all the time, instant messaging, social media. There's constantly, if you've ever been on dating sites, which I'm married now, but back when I was single, on the dating sites, you would get these random pop-ups that it's like, oh, hey, I'm a young single in your area, and I'm looking to meet guys just like you. And it's fraud because she's way out of your league. Yeah, that used to happen all the time. Um, the one that I'm seeing more and more and more recently is actually over phones. They do spam phone calls, and it's gotten to the point where with my cell phone, if I don't recognize the number, I don't have your number stored, I just send it straight to voicemail. And the vast majority of the time, it's a spam call. One of the difficult things about cyber fraud, though, is that it's vastly underreported. People don't like to report these to police because either they think it's not important enough for the police, or they're embarrassed, or they don't even realize that they were victims until way too late, or lots of different reasons. But people don't report this to the police very often. So email fraud. The most kind of famous email fraud is the 419 scam. The 419 scam is actually hundreds of years old. It long predates email. But email made it way, way, way easier to do. And this is how it works. You get the email, and it says something like, hey, I need help getting a large amount of money out of my country. Hold on one second. Sorry, my allergies are killing me, guys. I need help getting a large amount of money out of my country and to your country. If you help me move these millions and millions of dollars, I'll give you, a 10% help fee or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, that's millions of dollars. Of course I'm going to help this guy get money out of his country. And the really, really common one early when this came to email, it was very common coming out of Nigeria. So it was known as the Nigerian prince scam. But it ended up being called a 419 scam because in Nigeria, it's section 419 of their criminal code that covers these crimes. So these Nigerians were very, very famous for running this scam. And people would ask them for, send me a picture of you, send me a picture of this to kind of, verify their identity. And this is one of the rather low quality responses that they got. where, it's not even a real computer, it's just, a drawing. But this is them trying to show that they are in fact rich business people or work in the the prince's office or whatever. So yeah, those are always fun. Another big email fraud scam thing that goes around a lot is phishing, spelled with a PH just like that. This is where essentially you create a fake website for that's spoofing some legitimate website. So maybe I'll make a fake Bank of America website, or I'll make a fake university email login site, or a fake, a video game service site, or whatever. And then I send out a mass email pretending to be from that company saying, hey, there's a problem, you need to re-verify your account, or, saying something that gets people to click on the link that I include with the email, which instead of sending them to the legitimate site, sends them to my fake site, where they input, a username and password or their credit card information or whatever, and then they can, then that information goes to me, and now I have their login credentials or their credit card numbers or their whatever information that I scammed out of them. This is why you have to be really, 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 really careful with emails sent to you. It is really easy to fake emails to look like they're coming from somebody legitimate. And in fact, during the 2016 election, John Podesta was a higher up in I can't remember the Democratic National Committee or the Clinton campaign or both, but he fell for a phishing scam and sent his email login credentials to somebody who turned out to be from Russia. And the Russians released a whole bunch of his emails, and they really made him and the DNC and the Clinton campaign look really bad. Spear phishing is when you're targeting a certain specific small subset of people, not just casting a huge giant net out to anybody, as many emails as you can send it. And this allows you to do a little more focused thing. So maybe at your university, right? They'll specifically target students at your university, and they'll figure out who the president of the university is and who their secretary is, and make it look like it's coming from the secretary of the president, and really kind of focus that on one very small group of people from one organization or one other kind of small group. And then whaling is for like one specific person. You are specifically designing an email or a phishing attack just to get one person to click it. So that's like John Podesta, this higher up in this political machine. They specifically designed it just for him. Then there are work at home scams. These go around by email a lot, and basically these work from home scams, a lot of times what happen is, they promise you all this money for working from home. You can make $100,000 a year working from home, 6 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times it's just you contact them and it's like, oh, you have to send us $100 for this learner's packet. And that'll teach you how to do it. And you send them the $100 and you get this learner's packet and you realize it's basically bunk. They don't really, they basically scammed you out of $100, and that packet they sent you is basically useless. Another similar one is the secret shopper scam, where people tell you that if you go out and buy this product and ship it to such and such thing and write up a thing, they'll send you money for it. A lot of times, sometimes it's just a trick to get you to send them this product and then they never pay you for it, or it's like a money laundering scheme where they pay you with stolen funds, then they get the legitimate thing that you sent them, they sell that on eBay or sell it somewhere else, and then they collect that legitimate money, right? So it's it's a way to conceal the source of this illegal money. Romance scams, basically, with the rise of online dating, you really got to worry about people saying, "Oh yeah, I love you, blah blah blah. We fell in love, and oh I don't have a webcam, so I can't video chat with you." But they kind of catfish you. I'm sure we've all heard the phrase catfishing. They pretend to love you. They pretend to be your romantic partner. And then the scam usually ends when they say, "Oh, I'm coming to visit you, but I got stuck in the airport and I need, $5,000 to get this ticket situation figured out, and I'll pay you back as soon as I get there." And because you think you're in love with them, you send them the money, and then of course you never see it again. Another big email fraud scam is the pump and dump stock fraud. This was a big thing on. If you ever saw The Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio, very, 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 very not safe for work, like very adult-oriented movie. But it's all about Leonardo DiCaprio plays this real guy who got busted for this giant pump and dump stock fraud scheme. And essentially the way it works over email is somebody will buy up a whole bunch of shares of some penny stock, where it costs 1 cent or 2 cents per share. He'll buy up a bunch of it. Then he'll send this email out all about how this company is about to have this momentous new product announced, and the money is going to shoot up, and this stock price is going to go through the roof, which causes dumb people to buy a bunch of this stock, which sends the price up to 10 or 15 cents. It's usually not that much, but then the guy sells all his shares that he bought for 1 or 2 cents and makes a huge profit. And then once people figure out the email was a total lie, the stock price crashes down again, and a whole bunch of people are out a whole bunch of money. But the people who started it, the people who drove up the demand for it in the first place, made a whole boatload of money. Does that make sense? All right. Spam. Before the invention of the internet, we still had spam. Even to this day, I get, stuff in my mailbox that's essentially just spam. It's, advertising. It's stuff that I really don't have any desire for, but, people send it to me anyway. But email and the internet has made this way, way, way easier to do. So when they send you these emails about, oh, you can buy this, fancy purse, or this fancy shoes, or designer clothes, or whatever, they're usually fake products that they're selling. They're, you send them the money where, you get this handbag that's supposed to be $1,000, and they're offering it to you for $50. If you send them the $50, you're either going to get a fake handbag, or you're going to get nothing at all, right? But the internet really, really, really makes this kind of sales fraud much, much, much easier, because they can steal the authentic logos and branding and images and all that stuff right off of the legitimate website, and create their website and their spam emails and their sales pieces utilizing the authentic stuff, which is really, really nice if you're, trying to defraud people out of money. So a lot of this what goes on with a lot of these websites, whether it's a spam email or it's, a website sales thing, or, a lot of times this is on eBay, but there's so many different ways to do it, where you send them money for some product, and either they don't send you any product, or they send you something counterfeit. At the digital forensics lab I used to work with, one of the guys did a really amazing case working with the Secret Service, because somebody was importing fake gold coins. They looked like real gold coins. They even had the, you know, 0.999 gold or whatever the stamping was. But they were fake. They were only gold clad. If you got down into the metal, they were, you know, something cheap, copper or brass or something. Um, so those kind of products, that kind of fraud makes people a lot of money because people love a good deal. People love to see, oh, you know, gold prices are $900 an ounce, but this guy's selling an ounce of gold for $800. That's an incredible price. Why am I not buying a whole bunch of these? Not realizing that, of course, it's counterfeit. Um, a huge majority of these fake goods, whether it's fake gold coins, fake purses, fake clothes, fake jewelry, watches, things like that, the vast majority of it is from either China or Hong Kong. Um, that area of the world has a much laxer view on things like intellectual property, and there's a huge industry in kind of copying the goods from other countries and selling it on their own. Um, Another big thing that people order from outside of the country is prescription drugs. Because in the United States, we have hugely expensive prescription drugs compared to the rest of the world. I mean, our drugs are way, 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 way more expensive than they are in most places in the world. And so people want to save money by getting them from other countries and shipping them in. If you can find a legitimate source for those drugs, that can save people a lot of money. Unfortunately, the vast majority of drugs that come in from outside of the country have either very little active ingredient or no active ingredient. They're just a sugar pill that is dyed and stamped to look like whatever prescription drug you're talking about. So, you know, you put the pill in your hand and it looks like an actual, you know, a pain pill or a Viagra or a, you know, whatever kind of medicine you're ordering. But then you take the pill and it doesn't actually have any of that active ingredient that you get the effect from. You know what I mean? But anyway, that is the end of our first section on this topic. We'll be back with the second section.